Alrighty, if you're like me and make poor life decisions and justify why you need a truck like this, at some point you'll probably end up putting offset ball joints. So I'm going to go over that today and explain why. So you're going to go to the alignment shop, you just put a brand new front end on the front of your Dodge for the 600th time this year. And you're trying to figure out, you know, get everything, the cast, camber, all that stuff, the toe in, toe out all right. And will you find out with your brand new ball joints, your camber is way off. So you need to find an alignment shop that's going to give you the specs. This is a nice little printout they gave me, which is awesome. And I really appreciate that. It's Jimmy's Repair in Garden City. They got a brand new alignment rack and they're helping me out here. So, left front, almost 1 degree. Right front, 1/2 degree. That's when it all came in, and it shows your toe in, toe out when it came in, because I just put brand new ball joints tie rods on. Here's after he did the alignment, and he told me I needed a 1 degree offset on the left and a 1/2 degree on the right, and that would get us pretty close. Now I've heard nothing but bad things about adjustable ball joints, so I went with these SPC offset ball joints. These aren't adjustable. And I'll show you once I get them in how you line them up. Comes with this nice little template here, which is nice. So let's get into it. All right, I'm gonna start taking the tires off. Now, like I said, I've had this all apart already, so everything's gonna come off really easy. Alright, so now we're going to take our dually adapters off. Now this is actually pretty easy. I'm going to get criticism over it, but it's fine. You're going to take your pry bar here. You're going to stick it in the wheel studs go. Like so. Take your 7/8 wrench, I'm sure it's metric. Like so. Little back up here. Give her the good old fashioned. Oh yeah. Now like I said, all this has had anti-seize on it. And everything's coming loose pretty easy because I just had this apart. I just put the brand new ball joints in and everything. So probably gonna put some Loctite on these when I put it back together. Yeah, you just take your pry bar and set her in there and go to town. You could use a crow's foot. And watch that pry bar don't slip out of your wheel studs. It ain't gonna feel very good. Is this great on your wrench? Nope. It's not. But it'll run. Alright, got everything loose. Now, if you have a dead blow versus a hammer, it'd probably be better, but these will come off pretty easy because I put anti-seize on them. Little taparoonie. Oh, come on. There we go. Key with this is put anti-seize around this lip because that's where it gets stuck. It's not getting stuck on the studs. It's where this recess goes into your wheel hub. You put some anti-seize on it, it comes off a lot easier. Because these dually adapters are actually off a northern truck, not a Kansas truck. And whoever put it back together put anti-seize on it, and boy did it help. Alright, so I'll show you guys a little trick with these brakes. I'll end up cracking that bleeder there. It's 10. Crack that bleeder. I just take a pry bar like this here. I'll get up in here in this caliper and just pry that. A little bit of that fluid should come out of there. And that should get me loose enough. Yep. Alright. Alright. So now we're going to get the caliper off. The caliper and the whole mount. We're going to leave it all together. I'm not going to take it all apart. So I just pressed the caliper back, got some of the fluid out of it so it'll come off easy. Then it's I think it's a 17 millimeter back here. Or 18, I don't remember. Wrong way. There you go. Strip it out while you're doing it. Put it on there. I'm just gonna hang it up here. Pretty heavy, but alright, now we're gonna get this cotter key out for the axle shaft. I don't know what size socket it is. This 1 3/4 fits kind of, so we'll just run that. There's a washer behind it, so you're gonna want to get that. Get a rotor off. Alright, now we're down to the wheel bearing, and we'll have to get the tie rod off. We'll get to that. So I'm not going to show you, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you're just going to disconnect your wheel speed sensor / ABS sensor there, and then I'll show you how I get the wheel bearing off. Alright, got the tie rod loose. Let's give her a couple of whacks. I know some people are going to cringe at that, but it's alright. Ain't going to hurt my feelings. Alright. Now we'll get the wheel bearing off. That wheel bearing bolts off. It's an 18 on there for those. Four of them. Now, this is where the anti-seize installing it comes in nice, because look at that, popped her right out. I should have been a little bit more careful doing that. Even more up that axle seal on there, which I'm making another video on. I have to replace one on the other side. So now we'll get into getting the axle out, because you're going to have to get the axle shaft out in order to do this top ball joint. See, it's brand new. And it's got to come off. So, alright, so get this axle seal out, or this axle shaft, excuse me. I'll just get in there with the pry bar and pry it out. Which isn't always as easy as it looks. You gotta be careful, because this will jam up against your wheel bearing. You can get it started coming out, and you want to pull it out very carefully. You don't want it to drop, because you don't want to mar up that axle seal. Now this is the passenger side, so you can put your hand in there to support it. Pull her on out. Alright, next thing is we'll get these bolts off these ball joints. And the lighting's not very good, so I'm probably not going to record much of that, but that's pretty self-explanatory. He'll pop those off, and we'll pop the hub off. We'll get this thing pressed out. Alright, so here's the unconventional way of getting these off. Get the hub off. If I had a big old pickle fork, I'd stick her in there and do it, but I don't. And this is how I do it. If you don't like it, well then you can go to the next video. This is where things get unconventional. Just like that. Like I said, this has already been apart. So things come off a lot easier. And there you go. Alright, so now we'll get into pressing this brand new ball joint out. That makes me want to cry. These are kryptonites, by the way. I've never tried them. They had a couple good reviews on them, so I was like, well, I'll give them a try. I don't have $1,000 to sink into ball joints right now, so this thing just needs to run and drive. So we'll get that pressed out, and yeah. Alright, so I know this looks really unconventional, but this is the only choice I have. I've already done it on the other side and it works. I'm using a socket. It's an 1.7 inch. I don't know what size it is. I'm using a socket on the bottom, and then one of the bushings that came with it, and just using a vise on the top, and I'm tightening it. I just give her a little whack with the old hammer, and she'll pop. Gonna get a lot of criticism for it, but it's okay because it works. Alright, got that tight. You take your vise, you're gonna hit it. It's a Harbor Freight vise, it's fine. See it pop? You're just gonna keep doing that till it comes out. There you go. Don't get it too tight. Okay. Gonna give it another whack with the hammer. See that? Pops it right out. And you're gonna keep doing that till it comes out. You'll get it to that point. You want to make sure the top of your ball joint isn't hitting the vise, which it is right now, I think. A little greaser sitting right there. But we're not reusing this, so it's fine. Unless somebody wants them, comment below. I'll send you 2 brand new top ball joints that I gotta take back off again. Always use the right tool for the job. Always. Alright, there she is in all her glory. Give her a couple. Oh, look at that grease. Pop her on out. That ball joint's still good. Not for this jump dodge though. So now we'll get into pressing in the new one. And I'll show you guys the template. Alright, so we have the SBC ball joint here, and it has a small mark. I know the lighting's terrible, but you can see it. So this is the positive side. So if you're going for positive camber, you're going to line this up. Now this has, get my camera in here, a little template you tape to the axle. And it will, I just center it up on the axle. This tells you to face it toward the engine. And it has a passenger and driver side. So we're going to align our ball joint tick mark up with this positive mark. Now, there's other marks on here if you need to go negative or positive in another direction. But for now, I just know we need a 1/2 degree positive, so that's where we're going to put it. Set her on in there. Get it as close as you can. It isn't going to be perfect, but get it as close as you can, and once they're in, you take her to the alignment shop and they'll tell you if it's good or not. Now to start this thing, I'll tap it in to get it straight started because I know the press is not going to press it in straight. So I'll get it started and I'll just kind of eye it. Frequently check. Already taken the template off. It should go in straight, but we can check it again. Not as good as we're going to get her there without the press. So let's get her in with the press. Alright, so we got the press set up, and just a warning. The bottom of this ear on this axle is not straight. So when you try to press this in, it's going to want to try to go in crooked. So what I do, I tighten a little bit. I'll persuade it on the side that has the least amount, that has more of a gap. And take your time. There's no point of trying to rush this. You don't want to press it in crooked. I've done that before, and it doesn't make you very happy. Because a lot of times you'll mess up the axle. So I think it's starting to get hard. Just take my hammer, love tap there, and you just keep doing that till she's all the way down. And this one's going in pretty nice. That the bottom of the ball joint isn't hitting underneath here, which I think it's starting to. Not want to mar those threads up. All right, pretty much got her seated in at this point. Everything's flush. Give her a little couple love taps. She should be good to go. Harbor Freight vise is a lot better than the old one I used to have. I'll give it that, because the last one I had, I bent it on the first. This was probably 8 years ago. I bent it on the first time I used it. So yeah, and I'll put her all back together. Well, that pretty much concludes the video. Everything kind of goes back in reverse here. You gotta put your ball joint nuts on and torque those down and put your axle shaft back in and wheel bearing and blah blah blah. But I'm not gonna do that now because I have to do an axle seal, and I'll make a whole separate video. Now, a lot of things I do are not probably correct, and I'll probably get a lot of backlash for it, but I've done this before. And I'm not worried about it. So you can take my advice, take it or leave it. And I will tell you, these SPC ball joints, they're made in the US, but they don't have the greatest reviews, especially on the Toyota forums for whatever reason. They seem pretty heavy duty. But I don't know, time will tell. Well, I'll do a follow-up video on this. I have a trip all the way from Kansas to Michigan, and we'll see how they do on the way there. But they were pretty decently priced. I think they were $100 a piece, one for a ½ degree and one for a 1 degree. And we'll see how they do. And I've never honestly put 2 different brands of ball joints on a truck either. I mean, I got the Kryptonites down here, and then I have the SPCs up here. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll be the first one to tell you if I messed up or not. So I'm not here hiding anything. This is just how I do things. So appreciate you watching, and keep an eye out for the next video. I'm replacing this axle seal. It's kind of a process. A lot of people are scared to do it, but if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. Well, hey guys, just wanted to explain a few things with these offset ball joints. Like I said, the reviews are mixed. And you're really trusting your alignment guy to tell you that these are the ball joints you need. So you need to make sure it's a trusted shop. The shop I took it to doesn't only do alignments, they're also mechanics. It's a full-on shop, does all this stuff. So I'm trusting what they say. This is the offset they need. And you can throw all these brand new fancy ball joints you want at these trucks. If they're still wearing on the inside, your camber is off. So just take my advice. Hopefully you guys find this video useful, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave it in the comments, and I'll make a follow-up video you know, maybe 6 months down the road to let you know how this thing's running and if there's any tire wear. I'm putting brand new tires on the front, so we'll see. Once again, appreciate you and thanks for watching.